तो जुड़ गए.
That Derek had made him spar with a black belt, twice his experience level, during his second week. When Tyler lost, Derek posted the clip with the caption, "First-timers shouldn't skip the tutorial." Tyler quit the next day. He never trained again. The investigation found that Lawson Academy had failed to maintain proper safety protocols, had no formal consent process for sparring sessions, and had allowed an instructor, Derek, to use students in content creation without written authorization. The Academy's operating license was suspended pending review. Grant Lawson tried to get ahead of it. He issued a statement calling the investigation politically motivated and announcing that Derek would be stepping back from teaching to focus on personal growth. It didn't work. 3 sponsors pulled their deals within 48 hours. The Academy's Google rating dropped from 4.6 to 1.9 in a single weekend. The parking lot that had been full of Range Rovers was empty by the following Monday. Derek's TikTok account was permanently banned for violating the platform's policy on bullying and harassment. His Instagram lost 18,000 followers in 4 days. The brand deals, the energy drinks, the supplement company, the GI manufacturer, all sent termination notices. His inbox, once full of collaboration offers, was now full of legal disclaimers. He deleted every video he had ever posted, every clip, every story, every caption with a cockroach emoji. But the internet doesn't forget. Fan accounts had already downloaded and reposted everything. The Janitor Challenge compilation alone had been mirrored on over 200 accounts. By the end of the month, Lawson Combat Academy closed its doors. The neon sign on Westheimer went dark. Grant Lawson put the building on the market. He didn't hold a press conference this time. Jerome's life moved in the opposite direction. The courtroom video, Brenda had recorded it on her phone from the gallery, spread almost as fast as the fight clip. Nathan's cross-examination became a viral moment of its own. The line, "You earned $4,828 from his humiliation," was quoted in op-eds, podcast episodes, and legal commentary channels across YouTube. A veterans organization in Houston launched a crowdfunding campaign for Jerome. It raised $62,000 in 5 days. Jerome used part of it to pay his rent. The rest he set aside for something else. The call came from the 5th Ward Community Center, a nonprofit gym on the east side of Houston that served low-income families. They had seen the videos. They had read about Jerome's military background. They wanted to offer him a position, head instructor of a new self-defense program for youth ages 10 to 17. Salary, benefits, a mat with his name on it. Jerome said yes. He named the program Ground Up. The curriculum wasn't about fighting. It was about control. How to de-escalate. How to protect yourself without becoming the aggressor. How to stay calm when someone is trying to make you lose your composure. The same principles Jerome had lived by every day he mopped that floor. The first class had 15 kids. By the second month, there were 40. Brenda Shaw volunteered as the program's administrative coordinator. Nathan Cole joined the board. On the first day, Jerome knelt in front of the group so he was at eye level with the smallest kid in the front row. The kid looked nervous. Jerome smiled. "First lesson," he said. "A real fighter never throws the first punch." The kid nodded. Jerome stood up, walked to the center of the mat, and began. That evening, after the last student left, Jerome stayed behind. He mopped the floor of the training room. Same steady strokes, same rhythm, same quiet. But this time, when he looked up, the sign on the wall read, "Jerome Adams, head instructor. He smiled, wrung out the mop, turned off the lights. Same hands, same man, different floor. 6 months later, Ground Up had a waiting list. What started as a single class of 15 kids in a community center gym had grown into a full program, 4 sessions a week, 3 age groups, 2 volunteer assistant coaches, and a wall of handwritten thank you notes from parents who said their children came home standing a little taller. Jerome didn't advertise. He didn't need to. The story did the work. The 40-second clip had been viewed over 50 million times across every platform. It had been featured in documentaries about online bullying, used in college ethics courses, and cited in 3 separate op-eds about the failure of social media platforms to protect vulnerable individuals from monetized harassment. Nathan Cole used the case to push for a state-level policy review. Within 4 months, Texas introduced new guidelines requiring martial arts academies to implement formal consent protocols for all sparring and demonstration activities. The regulation was informally called the Adams Rule. Jerome never asked for that. He found out from a news article. Brenda Shaw left her paralegal job 6 months after the trial. She enrolled in law school at the University of Houston. Her admissions essay was 4 pages long. She didn't mention Jerome by name. She wrote about the moment she realized that holding a camera steady was the most important thing she had ever done, and that she wanted to do more than record injustice. She wanted to fight it. The veterans who had filled the courtroom that Wednesday didn't disappear. 8 of them formed a volunteer network that connected former service members with community programs in Houston. They called it Second Detail. Jerome was their first success story. He wouldn't be their last. And Derek Lawson? 6 months after the academy closed, a receipt surfaced online. It was from a small gym in Beaumont, Texas, 90 miles east of Houston. The receipt showed a monthly membership, beginner's class, white belt. No last name on the sign-in sheet, just D.L. A few people recognized him from a blurry photo someone posted on Reddit. The comments were split. Some called it a publicity stunt. Some called it karma. A few said it was the first honest thing he had ever done. Jerome was asked about it once, during a local news interview in the community center parking lot. The reporter held up her phone with the Reddit photo. "Is that Derek Lawson? And if it is, what would you say to him?" Jerome looked at the photo for a long moment. Then he looked back at the camera. "I'd say it takes more courage to start over than it ever took to show off. And if he's really starting from white belt, then he's learning the first thing I teach every class." Which is? Respect the mat. Respect the person standing across from you. Everything else comes after. The reporter asked if Jerome had any anger left. Jerome shook his head. "I mopped floors for 3 years in a place that treated me like I was invisible. I'm not angry. I'm just glad someone finally looked down and saw who was standing there the whole time." The camera held on his face for 3 seconds. Then he turned and walked back inside. The kids were waiting. What would you have done if you were standing on that mat? No gloves, no warning, the whole world watching. Drop your answer in the comments. If this story hit you the way it hit me, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button. Stories like Jerome's don't come around often, but when they do, you don't want to miss them. True strength was never about how hard you hit. It's about how much you can take. and still choose control over chaos. The loudest people demand power. The strongest ones rarely have to prove it.